Guys, we have a big breaking news coming out when it comes to nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. It says here the UK is rapidly developing plans to prepare the whole country for the possible outbreak of war, the Armed Forces Minister has said, underlining the role civilians will have to play in a major conflict. You have Al Carnes said armies, navies, and air forces responds to crisis, but societies, industry, and economies win wars. All right, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. Once again, the UK are planning, they're preparing, and they're getting ready for possibly war with Russia. Alright, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters, a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also the description box. Once again, thank you so much for your support. I just got home from the pharmacy. You guys already know my wife. She was in the hospital early this morning, and we got home like around 2. And I went to the pharmacy because they said the prescription is ready. One of the prescription, almost $400. It's the inhaler. That is brutal, and that is crazy. Us sleeping giant citizens are struggling when it comes, again, the cost of living, the food prices, medical stuff, insurance, you name it. We are struggling in these end times. Regardless what Trump says that the economy is booming, I'm not seeing that. I got a video coming up about the cost of living. Americans are skipping meals. I mean, it's just Americans not paying their light bills. They sleeping in the dark. I mean, it's just really tough for America. We're not supposed to be in this spot. This is America. We're not supposed to see this. Anyway, please send prayers for my wife. Please send prayers for her that, bronchitis and her neck pain goes away. I really appreciate it. Okay, so once again, UK rapidly developing plans to prepare for war. You have Al Carnes has warned of a shadow of war at Europe's door as hostile intelligence activity against the UK has jumped by more than 50% over the past year. All right, so you got these countries, they're preparing for war. They already told their population to stock up on emergency kits. So once again, the UK is rapidly developing plans to prepare the whole country for the possible outbreak of war. The Armed Forces Minister has said, underlying the role civilians would have to play in a major conflict. Al Carnes said armies, navies, and air forces respond to crisis, but societies, industries, and economies win war. That's very true. That is very true. When it comes to war, you have to protect those businesses. You have to protect those companies because they're the one that keep the country running. All right. So during war times, you have to protect them. You see what's going on with Russia? The oil companies are getting hit. Their tankers are getting hit. Those are very important companies there, oil companies that Russia's making profit out of it, and they're getting hit, and so it's not good for Russia. They're not getting much profit from it. The comments came after Mark, the head of NATO, told allies on Thursday that Europe must ready itself for a confrontation with Russia on a kind of scale our grandparents and great-grandparents endured, a reference to the First and Second World Wars. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you call a warning sign of WW3. Even Donald said it. We are in a verge of seeing WW3. Look out for these signs. Jesus Christ said that there would be wars and rumors of wars, and there would be kingdom against kingdom and nation against nations. And Jesus didn't say only one country will see war. Jesus said the entire world will see it. Ain't nobody gonna hide. No one. You can have your nice, beautiful, tiny, little, beautiful bunker and stuff like that with all your goody toys. Nobody is going to hide from what's coming. Bible prophecy will happen. The whole world will see it. In an indication of the threat, Britain revealed on Friday that the level of hostile intelligence activity, such as spying, hacking, and physical threats against its armed forces and the Ministry of Defense, has jumped by more than 50% over the past year. The bear, the red dragon, Persia, let me just say it, Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea are suspected of being the main culprits. Guys, these are, again, this is biblical stuff right here. All right, these countries, again, their army, their military are very powerful. Okay, a lot of people here in the U.S. says that the Red Dragon soldiers are 5'5", 120 pounds. Baloney. Baloney. You could ask any true U.S. soldiers that been to the Red Dragon country. They would tell you that it's baloney. The Red Dragon has some very, very powerful military soldiers, and they ain't no 120 pounds. The bear also has some very powerful soldiers with the best nuclear in the world. Persia don't fall asleep on Persia. The Babylonians, once Babylonians, do not fall asleep on Persia, Iran. And then you have North K. That's another one, guys. That's a brutal country right there. Those soldiers, again, no tears come down their eyes. It says here the Gov is launching a new defense counterintelligence unit to booster its ability to detect and disrupt intelligence operation by hostile states. Going back to these empires, them combined, they're ruthless. All right. We're talking about juggernauts. I mean, NATO and the U.S. cannot stop the bear from, taking Ukraine territory. It's been almost 4 years, and the bear is still strong. It has also moved to enhance the Ministry of Defense's spying capability by combining the various military intelligence branches across the Army, Navy, and Air Force, as well as defense intelligence, into a new organization called the Military Intelligence Services. The MI initials are the same as in MI5 and MI6, so I guess that's M15 or M16. The UK's domestic and foreign intelligence agencies. I don't know, guys. Again, like I said, I do believe that things are gonna spark. I just don't see any peace going on. Now, a lot of people is gonna say, "Well, ain't nothing gonna happen." Yeah, keep believing that nonsense stuff. Scripture said it's gonna happen. I believe scriptures, and again, when it comes to people saying nothing's gonna happen, again, it's the same thing what people told Noah. Ain't no flood coming, you old man. You've been building this ark for 50 years. Look at you. You're old. You're stressed. You're losing hair, and you're still building this ark. And what happened? Yeah. Many of the people that were mocking Noah, that were running towards the ark, and God shut the door on them. It says here, Mr. Carnes, a former Special Forces colonel, visited RAF Witten, a top-secret military spy base in Cambridgeshire, with a second defense minister, Louis Jones, as well as a group of journalists, to announce the organizational changes. But improving the readiness of the professional armed forces is only part of any country preparedness for potential conflict. With France warning its people they may need to lose their young ones. Hold on. Listen to this. France warning its people they may need to lose their young ones fighting a war with the bear. You hear that? France is telling their population, your sons and daughters will put on the camouflage. Many of them will be out in a fighting a war with the bear. That's brutal. That's a brutal message. Sky News asked Mr. Carnes whether he thought more needed to be done to inform the British public about the sacrifices they might be required to make in a war. Now remember, God warned that this will happen. If you read 1 Samuel, remember the people told Samuel, we want a king ruler. You are getting too old, Samuel. You're getting old, man. And your two sons are corrupted. They accept briberies and they are committing adultery and all these stuff. We can't have them take your spot. They're lawlessness. So we want a king ruler. Samuel went to speak to the Lord in private. The Lord told Samuel, they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting me. Give the people what they want. But warn them. If they want a king ruler, their son will be in the military. And their daughter will be bakers, perfumers, and be involved in all these things too. Ladies and gentlemen, God has been warning about stuff like this. They may need to lose their young ones fighting a war. And again, people wanted a king ruler. Under a king ruler, he's going to have military soldiers backing him up. The minister said there's a whole load of work going on now between us, Ministry of Defense, the Cabinet Office, and the whole of society approach. Excuse me. And what conflict means and what everybody's role in society means if we were to go to war and the build up to war. He continued, collectively, everybody, what is their role if we get caught in an existential crisis? And what do they need to be aware they need to do and what they can't do? And how do we mobilize the nation to support a military endeavor? Not just about deploying the military, but actually about protecting every inch of our own territory. That work is ongoing now. It's rapidly developing. We got to move as fast as we can to make sure that's shored up. Once again, the UK used to have a comprehensive plan for the transition from peace to war. Developed over decades, the Gov War Book had instructions for every part of society, from the army and the police to schools, hospitals, and even art galleries. It says here, however, this huge body of preparedness, which was expensive to maintain, was quietly shelved following the end of the Cold War. Mr. Carnes' comments indicate that some kind of modern version of the doctrine could make a comeback. Communication, the changing reality of the security situation to the public, is also seen as key. The Armed Forces Minister said many people in the UK do not see, hear, or feel the dangers, even as the bear Russia's war in Ukraine rages, impacting the cost of fuel. Here's the thing, because a lot of these people, they believe that nothing's going to happen. Everything is fine. Everything's great. Bunch of fearmongers. Fearmongers! It says here we got to bring that home to make sure people understand, not to scare them, but to be realistic and understand where those warnings are emanating from and why defense and a whole society approach is so important. That's very true. We're not trying to spook no one here, but trying to prepare people. But again, his part, again, I do agree, but I have a better one. People need to be prepared spiritually with Jesus Christ. All right. Then you can be prepared here on earth. But number one, people need to get right with Christ. Because Christ said that all this will happen. And these are one of his signs of his return, of rumors of wars. And we are definitely seeing the UK, they're really sounding the alarm. This is another warning they're putting out. And they're urging their citizens to be prepared for possible war with the bear. They're also telling their population, your sons and daughters, they will be putting on those camouflage. Many of them won't come back. So that's part of war. And Donald said that, if we continue going to this route, it's going to lead to WW3. And I agree with Donald. Donald also said, if things escalate, we also going to be dragged into this biblical war. So prepare yourself. The Bible says the entire country will see it. Not only one territory, the entire world will be involved in this Bible prophecy of biblical war. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Check out the videos I posted today. The links will be in the comments box. And please pray for my wife. I really appreciate it. I can't believe they're asking $400 for an inhaler. I mean, it's just insane. $400 is just absolutely mind-blowing. It's just really sad, because stuff like this is not supposed to happen in our beloved Sleeping Giant country. So please pray for my wife. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Till next time later. Peace.